Russia has fined Apple $17 million in latest antitrust action. After an antitrust investigation found that Apple violated the law by prohibiting app developers from linking to payment options outside of the App Store, the Russian regulator fined the Apple $17 million. The amount of the fine is determined by the company's domestic App Store sales, which are currently lower than usual since Apple is complying to banking sanctions against Russia. The investigation's conclusion was made public in July of last year, but the sum of the fine had to be determined based on Russian App Store sales. According to Russia, Apple will pay a fine for breaking antitrust laws and abusing its dominant position in the App Store market, because Apple forbids iOS app developers from telling clients inside the app about the possibility of paying for purchases outside the App Store or using alternative payment methods. According to the Russian Federal Anti-Monopoly Service, FAS, Apple App Store will face a fee based on turnover that will be calculated after an administrative investigation. According to Reuters, the fine has finally been decided. In response to what it claimed was Apple's exploitation of its dominating market position, Russia's FAS punished the American company $17.4 million, the regulator reported on Tuesday. It stated that Apple had 2 months to pay the fine. In order to comply with U.S. economic sanctions, Apple withdrew Apple Pay services and voluntarily stopped hardware sales in Russia in March of last year. The Ukrainian government asked Apple to fully stop all App Store sales in Russia. The Cupertino Corporation made the decision not to. Apple did not respond to inquiries about its choice, but it most likely considered the potential benefits and drawbacks of restricting Russian people's access to apps. Even if some larger companies seem to have found workarounds, the company has restricted sales of apps controlled by Russian entities that are subject to U.S. sanctions. Russia has joined a long list of nations that have found that Apple's App Store regulations violate antitrust laws. This list also includes the U.S., where a court decided that Apple must allow developers to link consumers to third-party payment services. At the time, the court decided Apple did not have to allow third-party app stores. The Department of Justice and some U.S. states have argued that this should be required, though. We believe that Apple is moving toward losing this argument and allowing third-party app stores on its platform, which is good news for customers.